Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. In this video, we will discuss about the photosynthetic protist, which is also known as the protistan algae, and this is the major group of protists. Before this video, we discuss about the protista, their general characters, their locomotion, structure, nutrition, reproduction, etc. Now we will start the groups of protists in this video this is the first group of protists and this is photosynthetic protist. This video is taken from CBSE class 11th part 6 of chapter 2nd. Now let's start the topic. So what are photosynthetic protists? Photosynthetic protists are mainly unicellular eukaryotic algae called protistan algae. The term algae refers to several kinds of aquatic, simple, thyloid, photosynthetic organisms ranging from unicellular microscopic forms to giant seaweeds. They were all placed in single group algae of plant kingdom in two kingdom system of classification. However, in modern five kingdom system of classification, blue-green algae, which is known as cyanobacteria, are placed in kingdom Monera. Green algae, which including unicellular forms such as Chlamydomonas and Chlorella, and then brown and red algae are placed in kingdom Plantae, and the remaining unicellular algal groups such as Dinoflagellates, Diatoms, and Euglenoids are placed in the kingdom Protista. So this is the structure or the starting of the photosynthetic protist. Now the photosynthetic protists are mostly planktonic, that is they grow and cover the surface of water body and move on the mercy of water currents. The phytoplanktons are the major producers of the aquatic ecosystem, accounting for more than 80% of the total carbon dioxide fixed in the biosphere. Photosynthetic protists have several divisions, but only three of these, that is, dinoflagellates, diatoms, and euglenoids, are described here. So, first one, that is known as dinoflagellates, and the division of dinoflagellates is pyrophyta. So what are the general characters of dinoflagellates? First one is the habit and habitats. This is a well-defined group of unicellular golden brown photosynthetic organisms. Majority of them are motile and flagellated, but a few are non-motile and non-flagellated. Flagellated forms exhibit peculiar spinning movement, hence they are called whirling whips. The group includes about 1,000 species. Most of them are marine, but some occur in the freshwater. Majority of the forms are planktonic and cover the surface of water body, imparting them in the characteristic colors. Some of them, such as Euglenoid, in this picture you can see the structure of the Euglenoid, grow in such abundance over the sea surface that makes the sea appear red and cause the so-called red tide. Nutrition of dinoflagellates is mainly holophytic or photosynthetic. However, some forms are saprobic, parasitic, symbiotic or holozoic. For example, a colorless blastodinium is a parasite on animals. Some dinoflagellates, such as Euglenoid, when grow in large number, release toxins into the water. These toxins are poisonous and kill a large number of marine animals. Some dinoflagellates like Noctiluca, Euglenoid, Pyrocystis, etc. are phosphorescent and make the sea surface glow in the dark. That means they act as a bioluminescence. So this is the general characters, that means habit and habitats of the dinoflagellates. Now see here the structure. The cell wall of the dinoflagellate, if present, is composed of a large number of plates made up of cellulose, and it is called theca or lorica. So here you can see that this theca is divided into two parts, epitheca and hypotheca. The theca contains two groups, longitudinal sulcus and transverse girdle or annulus. The cell surface usually bare, sculpturing the hexagonal plates. The plates give them an armored appearance. So this is the structure of the dinoflagellates. Usually the cell possesses two flagella, and which are of different types. That means heterocont. One flagellum is transverse. In this picture you can see, which arises from an anterior point in the transverse girdle. It is helical in form and ribbon shaped. The other flagellum arises in the vertical furrow and trails behind the cell. It is narrow, smooth and acronematic type. Both the flagella arises through pores in lorica. Cells possess a relatively large and prominent nucleus known as mesokaryon. The interphase nucleus has condensed chromosomes which lacks histones. The cell division starts from the posterior end. During the cell division, centromeres and spindles are not seen. The spindle is replaced by cytoplasmic microtubules, and during mitosis, the chromosome break up into the pairs of chromatids. The nuclear envelopes and nucleolus persist during division. There are numerous discoid chloroplasts without pyrenoids or with pyrenoids. They are yellow-brown to dark brown in color due to presence of characteristic pigments chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, alpha-carotene and xanthophylls, including dinoxanthin and peridinine. The result food material is starch or oil. The cell possesses an osmoregulatory organelle called pusule, which superficially looks like contractile vacuole. The cells possess mitochondria, ribosomes and Golgi body. They also possess mucilage body or vesicles below the cell membrane. So this is all about the structure of the dinoflagellates. Now, reproduction. So dinoflagellates reproduce asexually through cell division or by the formation of zoospores and cysts. Sexual reproduction, if occur, is isogamous or anisogamous type. Two cells conjugate by a conjugation canal where the two amoeboid gametes fuse to form a diploid zygote. So this is dinoflagellates, which is now after this we will see diatoms. So you know that here in this photosynthetic protist we will discuss only about dinoflagellates, diatoms and euglenoid. So first was dinoflagellate. Now see here the diatoms, and it's present in division Basidiophyta. So what are the general character? First one is the occurrence of diatoms. So where diatoms are found? Diatoms is the collective name of about 170 genera and 5,500 species of golden brown photosynthetic protists. Most of the diatoms occur as phytoplanktons both in fresh and marine water. A few forms occur as benthos at the bottom of the water reservoir. Some are terrestrial and grow on moist soil. Diatoms constitute a major part of phytoplanktons of the oceans. It is estimated that a 60-ton blue whale may have approximately 2 tons of planktons, mostly diatoms, in its gut. Now see here the structure of diatoms. Diatoms are microscopic, unicellular, photosynthetic organisms of various colors and diverse forms. Here you can see that different forms of the diatoms. They may be circular, spindle-shaped, half-moon-shaped, boat-shaped or filamentous. They exhibit mainly two types of symmetry, which is radial symmetry as in centrales. So The symmetry are of two types in case of diatoms. First one as in centrals, example cyclotella, and isobilateral symmetry as in case of pinnels like pinnularia. The cells of diatoms are called frustules. Here you can see the structure which is known as frustules. The cell wall is chiefly composed of cellulose impregnated with glass-like silica. It shows sculpturing and ornamentations. Now, the cell wall is composed of two overlapping halves or theca that fit together like two parts of the soap box. The upper half lid is called epitheca and the lower half case is called hypotheca. The outer covering possesses very fine markings, pits, spots and ridges. Diatoms do not possess flagella except in the reproductive stage. They show gliding type of movement with the help of mucilage secretion. They float freely on the water surface due to presence of lightweight lipids. Each cell has a large central vacuole in which a prominent nucleus is suspended by means of cytoplasmic strand. The cells are diploid, which is two-end condition. In case of centrals, the nucleus lies in the peripheral region. The cells possess plate-like or discoid chromatophores or chloroplast. They contain chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, carotenes, diatoxanthin, dinozanthin, and fucoxanthin. Chlorophyll B is absent in diatoms. The reserved food material is oil and polysaccharide or chrysolaminarin. So here you can see that in case of the diatom structure, the chloroplast present, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, zooxanthin, etc. And the reserved food material which is chrysolaminarin are present in case of diatoms. Now reproduction in diatoms. The most common method of reproduction here is multiplication and is binary fission, that means cell division. But here you can see that it occurs in night. In this process, each daughter individual retains one half of the parent cell and the other half is synthesized, that is epitheca is retained and the hypotheca is synthesized. As a result, one of the two daughter individual is slightly smaller than the parent cell and there is gradual reduction in the frustule over the generations. However, the normal size is maintained by formation of rejuvenescent cells which is known as oxospores and growth of protoplast secreted from the frustule and secretion of new frustule of larger size. So this is the binary fission, but here one is small and one is larger in size. Sexual reproduction here takes place by the fusion of gametes. Here you can see that this is the sexual reproduction process. Meiosis is gametic, that is takes place during the formation of gametes. The diploid nucleus of parent cell divides by meiosis into 2 or 4 daughter cells. Out of 4 haploid daughter nuclei, only 1 or 2 survive and the rest degenerate. Thus, they reproduce only 1 or 2 gametes. The gametes may come out by an amoeboid movement and fuse externally in pairs within a mucilaginous sheath to produce zygote. The diploid zygote that transformed into the oxospores. The siliceous cell wall of diatoms are indestructible, that means do not decay easily. They were collected over millions of years on the seafloors called diatomite or diatomaceous earth. These deposits may extend for the several hundred meters in the certain areas. So examples of here you can see from the diatoms are navicula, cyclotella, pinnularia, diplones, coscinodiscus and triceratimum. So these are the examples. Now What are the economic importance of diatoms? Diatoms constitute an important producer in the form of phytoplanktons in aquatic ecosystem. Large fossil sedimentary deposits of diatomite or diatomaceous earth are mined and used in various industries. Diatomite is used as a cleaning agent in toothpaste and metal polishes, added to paints for enhancing night visibility, added to make soundproof rooms, used as insulating material in refrigerators and furnaces, and employed as a source of water glass or sodium silicate. So this is the economic importance of diatoms. Now, after this, the last one is Euglena-like flagellates, or and this is present in Euglenophyta. The division of this is Euglenophyta. So this is the last of photosynthetic protists, and this is the third group. The euglenoid flagellates are the most interesting organism, having a mixture of animal and plant characters. Earlier botanists considered them algae and placed them under the class Euglenophyceae and division Euglenophyta. And zoologists considered them animal and placed them in the class Phytogomastigophora and the phylum Protozoa. Now these organisms have been separated both from plants and animals in the Whitaker's five kingdom system of classification and placed in the kingdom Protista. Now, what are the general characters of the Euglena? So first one is the occurrence. Euglenoids includes about 36 genera and 800 species. They are unicellular, flagellated and motile. A few forms are non-flagellated. They commonly occur free living in the freshwater pools and ditches. However, a few forms occur in the damp soil, brackish water and even in salt. The most common euglenoid flagellates is Euglena viridis. Here you can see in this picture the spindle organism, which is mostly readily available for the laboratory observation. Now, what is the structure of Euglena-like flagellates? These protists lack a definite cellulose cell wall. The cells are covered by a thin membrane known as pellicle or periplast. Here you can see the outer covering is pellicle. In some forms, the pellicle is rigid and gives a definite shape. Example, Phacus, Rhabdomonas, etc. Whereas in other it is flexible so that the cells change their shape continuously, like in case of Euglena gracilis, Distigma proteus, etc. The pellicle consists of protein microfilament together with a small amount of lipid or carbohydrate. The number of flagella in each euglenoid cell may be 1 or 2. Out of 2 flagella, one is long and the other is short. They are tensile shaped, that means pentonematic, that is the flagella bears two longitudinal rows of fine hairs. The hair arises only on one side of flagellum. Each flagellum has its own basal granule. Cells at the anterior end possess a mouth, which is known as cytostome. Here you can see in this picture, arrow indicates the mouth, which leads into a flask-shaped cavity, which is known as gullet or cytopharynx. The latter then opens into a large basal reservoir. The mouth is usually eccentric. In the biflagellated forms, like in case of Euglena, the two flagella arises from their respective basal granules inserted in the cavity of cytopharynx. The two flagella join with each other at a swelling called paraflagellar body. Here you can see that photoreceptor or paraflagellar body, which is like a swelling. In this picture you can see this circular in structure, and finally only one long flagellum emerges out through the cytostome. An orange red color eye spot or stigma is located at the base of flagellum attached to the membrane of reservoir at the level of paraflagellar body. The eye spot is a curved plate with orange-red granules. They contain red pigments, astaxanthin, found elsewhere only in Crustacea. Both paraflagellar body and eye spot act as photoreceptor and direct the organism towards the optimum light. Usually, a large contractile vacuole occurs at the anterior end near the base of the reservoir. It opens into the reservoir and discharges its content. A new contractile vacuole appears due to the fusion of many small vacuoles. Thus, the contractile vacuoles serve the function of osmoregulation. Each cell possesses a single large nucleus, which exhibit a different sort of nuclear division. The nuclear envelope persists during cell division. The nucleolus also persists and bifurcates into two. The mode of nutrition in euglenoid is holophytic or photoautotropic. Some forms are saprobic like rhabdomonas or holozoic like Peranima. A few euglenoids are parasitic and live in the rectum of frogs. Some euglenoids lead both holophytic as well as saprobic mode of nutrition, and this type of nutrition is called mixotrophic, which is found in euglena. The photoautotropic forms possess many discoid or long radiating chloroplast, with or without pyrenoids. Each chloroplast is composed of a granular matrix transversed by 10 to 45 dense band and it is covered by 3 membrane envelope. They contain the photosynthetic pigments chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, beta carotene and xanthophylls. Product of photosynthesis is paramylon, which is stored in the form of paramylum granules in the paramylum bodies in the cytoplasm. Now, if we talk about the reproduction in euglena, asexual reproduction occurs by longitudinal binary fission starting at the flagellar end. In this picture you can see first in case of this chromatic structures by the duplication of chromosome occur, then the longitudinal furrows form and then the two daughter euglena forms here. Under unfavorable condition, the euglenoids form cysts to penetrate the dry period. So what are the unfavorable conditions? That is when the pools dry up. Sometimes binary fission occurs in the encysted conditions. Sexual reproduction has not been observed in euglenoid except in one genus. So this is all about the photosynthetic protists, that is Protista algae. Now in the next video we will discuss about the consumer decomposer protist, which is known as slime molds. So if you understand this video, please like and share it and subscribe to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. If you have any queries, any questions or any suggestions, you can ask in the comment section below. Thank you for the watching.